there's a profound difference between danger and fear. In one way, danger is infinitely more real than fear. Danger, a dangerous situation where we are at risk of some impending doom that can threaten our well-being, right? Like our physical well-being. Now, this is already taken care of biologically. When you get in an experience of danger, there's this reaction of presence. Do you ever notice this? Like you immediately become present and it says, I need to address this. Now, the more you're afraid of what's happening, the less you have an ability to react intelligently, right? Because you start responding from fear and you start doing stupid shit. But the less you are afraid, the more you can show up in a meaningful way. And so, yes, there are dangerous situations, and I would argue that those are actually opportunities for us to show up. But the fear itself is more responding to what you think this means about you. Like, for example, I would imagine as this relates to your family, somewhere inside of you is this pain that is exposed that says, this means I'm not enough. Like, I can't do enough. Like I'm not man enough, or I'm missing some skill set, right? It sees yourself as less than, but we project it onto our family. And so we think we're afraid of what other people are going through, but actually it's becoming a reflection that tells us we're not enough, right? And now that's not happening in reality. There's nothing in reality that says you're not enough. That's our own sort of silly conditioning. And so in that, we're not actually afraid of anything that's out there. We're afraid of our own misunderstanding. We're afraid of our own tendency to see ourselves as worthless. And that's scary shit. But as a further illustration to drive this home, you know how most people, not most people, but some people say, I'm afraid of the dark, right? So there's this apparent real experience where when I'm in a dark space, I get scared. And so we say, I'm afraid of the dark. But let me ask you, are you afraid of this, something that we call the dark, an absence of light? Or are you afraid of your imagination in the dark? You see this? Yeah. It's like when it's dark, your mind starts imagining monsters and you're afraid of the monsters. You're not afraid of the reality that's happening, which is you can't see, because in a very real way, you can just be still and you'll see that everything's fine. You just can't see right now. That's fine. But when you start imagining monsters, it takes over your awareness and you start running around in the dark and you hurt yourself. And so there's this profound opportunity to recognize that there's nothing that exists in the dark that isn't also there in the light. Because when you turn the light on, it's all the same. You just couldn't see it. And this is what I mean when you see reality more clearly, that even if you can't see with your eyes, in a way, you know what's there. It's the same thing that's in the light. You just can't see it. And you don't give fuel to those monsters, right? You discern the difference between reality and imagination. Like, and again, this speaks to so many human experiences, like in relationships, your partner says something and you imagine it means something about you, but it doesn't really mean that, right? So you see the difference. Like, what am I responding to? Am I responding to my fear of monsters that I'm imagining? Or am I responding to the heart that's expressing how she feels right now? And this is getting out of your way. And the pain teaches you how to get out of the way, because when you're in pain, quite directly, it's telling you that you're afraid of your monsters.